Hey, what's going on, party people? Robert Jenkins here, coming to you from the North Star Podcast, deep in the bowels of MoonMind Productions. Yo, I'm coming to you with another positive, anti-corona, anti-propaganda broadcast. I'm finna be kicking some poetry straight from the heart as usual. And as usual, I'm going back and bringing something forward. I wrote this poem called Streaming. Oh man, it must be 15, 20 years ago now. I ain't gonna talk too much about it before I get started. I'm just finna get ready to go into it. It's called Streaming. Usually my power comes on slowly, increasing gradually while the earth is twilighting. Other times it comes on the clouds, storm riding, a winged form flying, skirting the horizon. Look like somebody with a horn rising in the distance, forlorn crying and guitar screeching, stars screaming, can you catch my meaning? Guess I was born dreaming. Swim up streaming, something in me is leaning, straining against the ties that bind. Forget what lies beneath, let's see what lies inside, like midnight oil and MoonMind glowing. Tide controlling, higher knowing without learning. My soul is yearning, but my wings ain't working, so my movements are jerky and stiff. My pen is leaking, dripping gifts on the pages. Man, you script courageous. I be trying to heal with these words while the world slays us. My tears are streaming, but I'm still singing praises. Words streaming, linking phrases. My words streaming, linking phrases. Linking places, both seen and unseen. I'm linking worlds, both dream and undream. Confusing things with the shadows of things. Heart beating, poetry pushing, pulsing through bloodstream, like silver salmon swimming upstream, leaping, seeking proper seating when they seeking. May God bless my consciousness when I'm streaming. Yeah, that felt good to let that one go. Yeah, that beat feel kind of good too though. That track is alright. Party people, we gon' get funky. Yeah, just hit me. Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Robert Jenkins coming to you from the Seat Perilous. Well, not really the Seat Perilous. The Seat Perilous is actually over there on the set. I'm just sitting at the computer, man, sitting at my rig, my workstation. Yeah, just having a good time, man, on this quarantine weekend. That poem I just got through kicking was called Streaming. And I'm going to break that down. But before I do, y'all see I started out with that party people. That's the intro to Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa, and the Soul Sonic Force. The unofficial theme song from my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Blue Phi, you know how we do. You know, I know. Hey, y'all know I'm real laid back and low key about most stuff, so I don't just be jumping around and stepping and spinning canes and stuff like that. But I almost always got on some blue. I got some blue around me. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is, man. So shout out to them brothers from Beta Chapter, Wiley College, Spring 94. Anyway, I want to continue with the what they call it, the exegesis for this poem that I just got through reading. And this poem was called Streaming. And this is something that I wrote, man, I'm gonna have to look up the exact date, but I'm pretty sure it was the early 2000s, 2003, 4, 5, something like that. And it might have been before then. I'm looking at this copy right now. It doesn't have, I put a date and a time on my stuff, but in this case, I didn't do that. So shame on me. But anyway, this poem is at least 15 years old, I would say. The words. Now this beat, I just made this track this morning. So I went out and got me a little bike ride in. I was huffing and puffing because getting a little bit older and a little bit sedentary. I'm trying to break that cycle. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the good things about Corona, man. You always got to look at the positive. What do they call it? The silver lining in the cloud. You know what I'm saying? You got to make some lemonade when life gives you lemons. I know that's all cliche and everything, but it's true. So I was out this morning, man. I went to work for a brief minute this morning. Had to take care of some stuff, but then as soon as I got back, I hit me a bike ride. That's why I'm kind of looking kind of bummy, but hey, feeling kind of good. Y'all don't want to come up in here and smell nothing because I can't make no promises. I can't give you no assurances. But since I was feeling good, so I'm trying to give you some background, right? So this weekend, or a few days ago, I guess it was, I was listening to Millie Jackson, and she did a remake of "If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Wanna Be Right." If y'all ain't seen that, man, go to YouTube and type in Millie Jackson, "If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Wanna Be Right." Don't look at nobody else's version. Look at Millie Jackson. I don't think she wrote that song, but that was her song. And whoever produced that mug, man, and whoever mixed and engineered it, oh, that was well recorded. So I'm listening to it a few days ago, right? And I may have been imbibing some adult beverages. I'm not going to advertise for nobody, but it could have been some peach Crown Royal. I don't know. It may have been. And while you imbibing adult beverages and listening to some old school stuff like Millie Jackson, oh man. And then the way they had the drums fronting kind of like in the center channel, but actually all the peripherals, like all the cymbals and all the hi-hats was like panned off to the right. And then Millie Jackson's voice was right in front of the kick drum, and then the guitar and I think that was a organ, was all arranged perfectly around her voice. It's like, oh, gee, woo, woo. It took me somewhere, man. I don't know where we went, but we went somewhere. And ever since I listened to that a couple of days ago, I was like, yo, I have got to put something down on the track. Put something down on it. That's another Millie Jackson tune. Y'all know about that there. I don't even think none of y'all old heads, too many of y'all old heads don't know nothing about that right there. That Millie Jackson, put something down on it. And it's 3 parts of that song. You got to listen to like all 3 of them. That song turned from one song to another song. You don't even recognize it. You don't even realize it till it's like halfway through the new song. You're like, what? Ain't that hot? What? That's how good it is. So anyway, I was kind of entranced and in a spell about all that Millie Jackson and that perfect mixing and mastering they did on that track, the perfect arrangement. And I was like, yo, as soon as I get a chance, I'm finna put something down on it. And that's what I did. That's what I tried to do with this. I took old words from the past, streaming, and made this track for it this morning, actually, and recorded, a little while ago. And I hope y'all like it, man. So if y'all don't mind, let me go on and break it down a little bit down. Now, I started around the time that I was writing streaming. This might have been earlier than the early 2000s, because I was influenced by movies like Seven and 13 Ghosts and stuff like that. When you watch them movies, the way they are edited and cut, they have a lot of stuttering and jittery effects and stuff like that. That kind of stuff. And I realized that when I be trying to write my poems, man, they be coming to. So there's 2 ways to write a poem. I can sit down right now and I can write a poem about anything you tell me to write a poem about, any subject. On the other hand, sometimes when I just be chilling, minding my business, doing something else, even sleeping sometimes, although not so much anymore, a poem will wake me up. It'll be like, and I'd be like, whoa, I got to write something. And when I do that, that's the best poetry, my best poetry. I'm not saying it's better than Langston Hughes or somebody. It might not be better than Nikki Giovanni. I'm just saying it's my best poetry. You know what I'm saying? It may not be no Phyllis Wheatley, but it's Robert Jenkins' best work. And I hesitate to even put my name on it like that, because it ain't really my best work. Because like I say, I don't even be thinking about poetry. I be chilling, minding my business, and all of a sudden it'd be like, whoa, I got something. Just gotta start scribbling like a lie detector, like a polygraph machine, be picking up signals and scribbling on paper. That's what I be doing sometimes. Just picking up them signals out the ether. That's why it's called streaming. Because I realize that them signals be streaming into your mind like they're being broadcast from beyond somewhere. Now, I'm a God-fearing man, so I would say they're probably broadcast from the Creator or some magnificent work that He has done to me. But I definitely will tell you and admit fully that I'm not the one that's writing some of this stuff. And that's my best stuff. Now, I can put together some pretty good stuff right now. I mean, you just say, hey, write about coffee. Coffee. You know what I'm saying? Deep in the mountains of Colombia, Juan Valdez and his burro digging in the earth, bringing something that's puro oro. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You could just freestyle like that and then write it as you kind of like going. That's Juan Valdez bringing forth pure gold. Yeah, anyway, that's how you can write about poetry. And that's how you can write a poem. And when I do that, that's me. And sometimes it be all right. Sometimes it be pretty good. And sometimes it be, don't ever read that to nobody because that was whack. So the point is, you never know exactly how it's going to be, right? And y'all, excuse me, I'm looking at my recording software and making sure everything is still kicking the way it should be. But anyway, the point I'm making is that there's several ways to write poetry there. And when I put myself into it, it comes out pretty decent. I've been doing this for a while. On the other hand, when that poetry come to me, when that poetry streams to me, like a streaming movie, where's the server? I don't know where the server is. The server is somewhere unseen and it's streaming into my consciousness, and I just be scratching on paper like a lie detector machine. When that happens, oh man, that'd be some. I look at that poetry and be like, yo, I wrote that. Dang, how did I write that? I think it'd seem like it'd be pretty good. I don't know. So that leads us to this poem called Streaming. So that was me watching those movies, 7 and 13 Ghosts, and back in those days, around that time frame, the late 1990s and early 2000s, they had this thing where they was trying to make that choppy, jittery movies and editing effects and stuff like that. And I immediately liked that. I digged it because I was like, yo, that's how words be coming to me, man. Words and phrases be streaming to me, and they be getting caught up, and they be spinning sometimes. That little Microsoft spinning wheel of death be spinning, because sometimes the words be coming in and they be like jittering and they don't fully come, and I got to fill in some blanks, and then all of a sudden they come, and I be like, oh, and next thing you know, you got a pretty decent poem. And so I'm also a person who is a night owl, and I love stormy weather. So that's why I say usually my power comes on slowly, gradually increasing while the earth is twilighting. But sometimes it comes on the cloud, storm riding. And I say a winged form flying, skirting the horizon. That's some old apocalyptic seeing vision type stuff. I don't know what that means. Interpret it however it seems comfortable to you, because I don't know what that means. It's just, I see something. I see a winged form flying, skirting the horizon. It looked like somebody with a horn rising in the distance, forlorn crying and guitar screeching, star screaming, can you catch my meaning? Yeah. Star screeching. I say forlorn crying and guitar screeching, star screaming, can you catch my meaning? Man, there's so much in there. I was thinking of Jimi Hendrix with the guitar screeching, star screaming, guitar, star. Jimi Hendrix playing in his guitar is a star, and he's screaming and streaming information live into your brain. Can you catch my meaning? Sometimes I can't catch my meaning. And I say, I guess I was born dreaming, swim upstreaming, something in me leaning against the ties that bind. That's because I'm a natural contrarian. I'm always out of time, and I'm always out of place, and I never fit right in where I'm supposed to be. For example, most of my friends and colleagues and age cohort people, all my cats I grew up with and hung out with, a lot of them came from single parent families where they had their mom present. Early on, though, I'm different. I'm always out of step. I'm always leaning against the ties that bind, swim upstreaming. I actually came from a single parent family early on where my mom passed away and my dad raised me. And then he got remarried. So I had a mom and a dad, but I was raised by a dad for several years, contrary to what almost everybody I know, their journey was. So I say, I'm leaning and straining against the ties that bind, forget what lies beneath. Let's see what lies inside, like midnight oil and MoonMind glowing. MoonMind is my concept because I noticed that most of my best work comes at night when it's quiet. And don't let it be a full moon on a quiet night or a quiet, windy night with a full moon. Woo-wee. It's finna be some writing done that night. I don't know why that hurt. I don't know what that is. I'm finna write something. You know what I'm saying? It might suck, but I'm finna write something because the mood is just right. So I say, Um, Forget what lies beneath. Let's see what lies inside, like midnight oil and MoonMind glowing. And of course, that's a reference to the Bible where it talks about being ready and keeping oil in your lamps. Keep that midnight oil burning. Always be aware and ready for the return of Jesus Christ is what the Bible is talking about. So that's a vague reference to that too. And keep in mind, man, when you be writing poetry or music or making your art, when you be dancing, I say dancing like further conversations with Don Juan, a Yaqui way of knowledge, like a separate reality. Dancing is the way a creature expresses itself. It doesn't matter if it's a crow or a rooster or a tiger or a black panther, an owl. These things have methods of being that express their very core. And so when I say dancing, I'm not really talking about dancing like, doing a Tootsie Roll and like that. I'm talking about when you're doing your thing that defines the essence of you. When you're doing that thing that defines your essence, that is where your action and your power and your gift comes through. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what I'm talking about right there. Midnight oil and MoonMind glowing, tide controlling, higher knowing without learning. That's like that intrinsic knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Just like these lyrics sometimes that come to you and you be like, yo, what does that mean? Why did I write that? I don't even know what that means, but it's tight, so I'm gonna leave it. I say my soul is yearning, but my wings ain't working. My movements are jerky and stiff. My soul is yearning, but my wings ain't working. What they say, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's what I'm talking about right there. My soul is yearning, but my wings ain't working. That's why when I do stuff, it don't come out right. My movements be jerky and stiff, and my pen be leaking, dripping gifts on the pages. Man, you script courageous. Because ultimately, when I'm writing, I be trying to heal us while the world slays us. You know what I'm saying? I say my tears are streaming because the title of the poem is streaming, information streaming into the mind, the subconscious, the polygraph machine. My tears are streaming, but I'm still singing praises. My words are streaming, linking phrases. I be putting words together, sewing poems. Stitching poems, linking phrases. My words are streaming, linking phrases. I'm linking places, both dream and undream. Linking places, both seen and unseen. Linking worlds, both dream and undream. I think that's the best. That's probably the best line in the thing. That's where I be feeling it, man. I say, linking places, both seen and unseen. Linking worlds, both dream and undream. Confusing things with the shadows of things. Heart beating, poetry pushing, pulsing through bloodstream like silver salmon. Y'all heard me the first time. I ain't got to repeat it. Sorry, my bad. But man, that's where I be feeling it though. And it right there, man, it's like words be coming and it's a linking of the material world with the spiritual unseen world. One time my dad said when he was my dad told me a story back in the days, man, they was young and they was poor, man, not poor, but poor. And finally they at one point was going to get a new car. And I understand that it wasn't new. It was new to them. It was a used car, but they were so excited to finally get a car. They was like, man, when we slam the door, it's going to say blam. And he said, yeah. And he said, I bet when we open the door, it's going to say unblam. Blam and unblam. And that's where that little line crept in. You know what I'm saying? I'm linking worlds, both dream and undream, confusing things with the shadows of things. That's what I'm talking about. And I say that poetry is pushing and pulsing through my bloodstream like silver salmon, swimming upstream, leaping, seeking proper seating when they see king. Of course, that's an allusion to the Bible where Jesus said he gonna be seated on God's right hand side. So I'm saying, hopefully, expressing my gift and doing what I'm supposed to, I can be seated in my proper area with Jesus, with God in heaven, in Valhalla, whatever with Allah. I don't know. It ultimately don't nobody really know what it is. And that's real. That don't get mad at me for saying that. Y'all know that's true. Whoever been there, whoever saw it. I ain't seen it. You ever seen it? But I think it's there. I feel it. I think that's where these words are streaming from. So whatever it is, I hope that there's some way, in some form, in the final analysis, I'll be seated in the proper rank. And I better watch what I'm wishing for, because the proper rank might not be where I think it might be. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little lower than that, son. Anyway, I say, like silver salmon swimming upstream, leaping, seeking proper seating when they see king. May God bless my consciousness when I'm streaming. So that right there, my friends, is the exegesis and the elucidation of that poem, Streaming. I hope y'all liked it. Hope y'all got something out of it. If you did, like Mos Def say, and that old saying say, then the credit goes to the Most High, to God Almighty. And if you thought it was whack and wasn't all that, well, that was my fault right there. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. I want to say, keep y'all heads up, man. Don't fall for the okie doke with this plandemic. Don't fall for everything and anything they try to direct you to look at, because usually when people in power, with power and position, people of power and position, usually when they telling you to look over here, that's because they doing something over here. That's real right there. I ain't gonna get deep into it. This episode ain't about that. But don't be looking over here just because they say so. If they saying look over here, wonder what's going on over here. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Robert Jenkins, North Star Podcast. On the next episode, my stalwart co-host, Jeff Gerlach, will be with me. He had some business to take care of this weekend, so we weren't quite able to hook it up the way we wanted to. But the next episode gonna be tight. And again, I'm gonna try to get my homegirl, Sweet Nay, that I met in Wiley College back in, what was that? 92, 3, 4, 5. She's a fantastic blues singer. I guess you would call it blues, man. She was taking me home. I started listening to some of her stuff. Check her out on Sweet Nay. I think that's the name of her YouTube channel. If I'm getting that wrong, please forgive me. We'll straighten it out next week. But anyway, party people, thank you for tuning in. Hope that you enjoyed this episode of the North Star Podcast. My name is Robert Jenkins. I'm also coming to you on behalf of Jeff Gerlach. And we want to bid you